everybody, Zavrin here, and we've got Nix with us, and he's the developer for Mafia Pigs, and we're going to do some Q&A and figure some stuff out. So, yeah, let's get it going.
Excellent. I'll post on our Twitter as well. Just a few more people know about it.
Yeah, something I didn't even think of doing, honestly.
No worries.
Yeah,
you have to pull all these levers all the time. So
yeah, it's always constant.
Have to try to remember, but it's rough. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. All right.
All right, the link. All right. Here. Should have been better prepared for sure.
These little pants works out in the end.
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying. Like, I didn't remember. I was honestly on the I was getting ready to start a RimWorld live, and I was like, oh wait, hold on, I was supposed to do that other live. You know what I mean? Like, it just, I couldn't remember if it was today or next Thursday.
I should see that.
Right. Okay. Sorry about that.
No worries.
I was telling my kids that they need to keep it down a little bit. So yeah, what was it that made you go with the pigs theme?
What was it made us go with the pigs theme? So we there's a whole bunch of little different bits of history behind the game. But we were really looking for a game where we could build the environment as being a very interactive thing over time. So putting more and more systems that interact with each other. And you can kind of do a human world for that's for sure. But we kind of really liked the idea of having a bit more flexibility and having different types of animals that have their own affiliations and plans and things like that. So we kind of threw that around a long time, and then the idea of Mafia Pigs came as kind of a central theme.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it just became enjoyable. Like it's a nice way to ideate over a world to have a bit more flexibility than sort of the standard tropes.
Yeah. And I think that's pretty cool. I love the art style. It looks really good. It's right up my alley. I really like the art style a lot.
Yeah, we've been having fun with it. The two artists that we worked with.
Yeah.
It's just been great. Yeah.
Being able to have all the artistic freedom that you wanted. It's cool.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
so as far as like the multiplayer goes and all that, is there going to be like a PvP thing, right?
Yeah, that's right. So the game, like I said, we really were thinking, we wanted to create a game where it has an interactive world and we can make that world more complex over time. And one of the reasons for that as well is that we want to really open it up for player creativity and actually create content, so people can create maps and scenarios and even manipulate the way the players play. That's still a little bit of a way off, but that was the aim. And we focused initially on building single player levels, because that kind of helps you dial in the movement and all the different parts of gameplay that are core to kind of what you do in the game. But then we added multiplayer, and more people were enjoying that. We had a co-op mode, which we still plan to add back in. But it's often with co-op, it's often it gets very thinky. So you're trying to outsmart the game, and it turned out that people just had a lot more fun when they were playing against each other. So the multiplayer now, we've really focused on a PvP. So right now it's up to 6 players, and you don't kill each other. You're really trying to complete the heist before the others, and you get to mess with the environment and kind of get to mess with the other players. That's the objective.
Oh, that's really cool. So you could essentially like maybe raise a red flag or raise an alarm and get the other people caught up by the weasels.
Exactly. Yeah, you can raise the alarm, bring weasels down on people. There are things like shock rays you can turn on and off. We'll be adding things like sticky patches, so when people run into them, they get messed up. We just added today a pickpocket feature, so when you're doing something in the game, someone can like walk right up behind you and start picking your pocket.
Oh,
so it's
dude,
kind of pretty funny.
That's cool. So you go through all that trouble, like say on to get the deeds, right? And so you can sneak up on somebody and take the deeds from them.
Exactly. Yeah, you can just steal it right out of their pocket. Yeah.
Just go hide in that little cabinet, wait for them to run by, snatch it, and run off before they get a chance.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool.
We've been having a lot of fun with those. There's still a lot to dial in. The multiplayer is still pretty raw, and I don't know if you saw, but we just announced that we're planning to have the demo next Fest. So that's going to be a stretch for us, but a lot of polishing to do between now and then. Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah, I heard about that being a demo available, so that's really cool.
Yeah. I mean, there's a high bar to meet still, but I think we've kind of got, people are having fun when they play it. Now it's about really like rounding off the edges and making it obvious what to do when you actually get in there, because there's still not that much explanation and so on. And I think in the current build there's going to even be some errors on screen. That should be gone by tomorrow, but it's one of those things. We're breaking. It's like add a bunch of stuff, break a few things, fix those.
That's how it always is too. It's always that way. You fix one thing and get 10 more bugs.
Exactly.
Now the create content feature, are we going to be able to create our own levels and stuff like that?
That is the plan. Yeah. So right now that's not in the game. It's going to take a couple of months, but we built the game purposefully from the ground up so that's going to be possible. And yeah, it's creating levels, and so that's the map layout, but also underneath, this is not obvious when you play, but all the characters in the game, they have their own goals and behaviors. So our objective is that you'll also be able to decide which enemies spawn and what their particular behavior is, and over time control them more and more. So we want that to be a really rich experience.
Nice. Yeah, when I first loaded up the game and saw it had create content on there, that right there, it got me really hyped up, because I was like, with the imagination of basically the world, it's just infinite possibilities of what worlds and what levels are going to be created by just some of the either most calm people who just want to chill game to play, and then the most chaotic people who just want nothing but sheer chaos. So I think that's going to be really cool.
I think we're really looking forward to opening that part of it. Obviously we have to really make sure it's an easy experience to create, and also to share your creation, right? So it becomes available. There'll have to be some moderation, but that's, we're trying to make that as seamless as possible.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And as far as the PvP goes too, because I was going to ask about that when it came to the PvP question, was if people were going to be able to play as like the weasels versus the pigs. But the way you explained it makes a lot of sense, where you don't necessarily play as the weasels, but you can sabotage the other players with the weasels.
That's
or
right.
Like anger the naked mole rats and then game over.
Exactly. Exactly. So we kind of thought a lot about how we would do PvP, and what we really like. I mean, a bunch of people on the team play, things like Fortnite and so on. And there's obviously a lot of shooter PvP games, arena games.
Yeah.
They're fun, but if you're playing against friends, especially if there's a skill differential, like shooting your friend in the back of the head like 15 times in an hour isn't, well, yeah, it might be fun for the person shooting, but it might not be that fun for the person being shot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so we were like, what's the equivalent where it's not battle, but it's heist? So the way we saw it was that you can have a grand prize and a bunch of other loot available in the level, and you kind of got to max out and get as much as you can, but then also trigger the end of the level, and you get points for that, and then have multiple of those. So you play those things, and you this is not in the game yet, but you'll get some in-game currency that you can then upgrade your team with, and basically have it so that you're competing to win the heist challenge rather than competing to be the last one alive, which is kind of what the standard kind of battle royale mode is.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that too. Like, was there plans on an in-game currency as well as like a upgrade shop and things like that?
Yeah, I think that's not in there yet, but we obviously, if you're playing, kind of this multiplayer game, we want each play to be fun. So each session or each run of the game, but really having something to gain from playing it as well. You get points and experience and things like that, but being able to get new items that you can use in the next run, unlock new characters that you can play, and so on. That's the plan.
That sounds cool. I like that. And then achievement-wise, what kind of achievements are we looking at here? Because I know there's like... Oh, go ahead.
We haven't gone super full into that, especially not on the Steam achievement side either. But yeah, we've kind of... on the single player, we had some achievements like clearing the level in certain ways, reaching certain parts of the level. On the PvP side, we haven't done that yet. And actually, normally for next fest demos, they tend to suggest not putting the achievements linked up yet, because what happens is the demos invariably go away, so people lose their achievements. So that's kind of not that great.
Yeah, and that gets people upset.
It does, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, we're right now we're trying to just make sure we've got the right mix of things in the game that people really enjoy, and then I think we'll build some achievements out of those, because there are some pretty amusing things you can do. Like you'll see some of the power-ups that we have now, and once you use those or use them in certain situations, that'll be part of it, reaching certain points totals and things like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I know there's a ton of people out there that are just like achievement hounds, right? They live for the achievements. And like you said, if you do it now, and then when the game reverts back to vanilla once it's on full release and they lose everything, it's just like, whoa, what the hell happened? So yeah. I know a lot of people get upset about that.
Yeah, so I think in the demo that won't be wired up, but we plan to do the demo for Next Fest, have it available a bit longer, and then we plan to roll that over into a development program. I don't know if we'll do early access right away, but it'll be a way for people to continue playing the game, because we do see this as our philosophy is to try to develop in public as much as possible, and obviously we don't want to waste people's time with something that isn't fun. But on the other side, this kind of game with people interacting with each other just benefits a ton from just being out there and having people give us feedback and say, hey, we had this match and this crazy thing happened, right? And then you want to decide if you want that crazy thing to happen again or not.
Yeah, and that's cool because it builds up a community, like a camaraderie with the community. People will find each other. Is there going to be public servers to play on too, where you just queue in with randoms, or?
There will be. So the way the multiplayer is set up, you can create your own lobby with a code. So if you've got some friends to play with, you share the code and kind of get in there. We're going to be wiring in the Steam friends, so you can kind of ping your friends to play in the game. And then there'll be open lobbies, so people can come in. Obviously, those open lobbies tend to depend on how many players are available. And what we plan to do initially is have a few kind of like alpha weekends, basically, where people can have a higher chance of finding people to play against.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's really cool too, because that builds up, in-game friendships and stuff, which is it's pretty big for especially on a multiplayer game. It helps out a lot, because like the amount of friendships I've made with people from even dating way back to like vanilla WoW, right? Like go in there with I don't know anybody, just running around. Next thing you know, I've got a bunch of people that I dedicated playing with, because it's just, you kind of build friendships and relationships that way, which is really, really cool. Yeah,
it's fun. And we're also, right now we're focused on just when you're in multiplayer PvP mode, it's just you control one character. But it's actually, we already have co-op in the game. So once we get things stable and people are enjoying it, we'll definitely look to add that you can have team versus team kind of scenarios. So like
that'd be cool too.
You and a couple of buddies against a couple of other squads doing things, right?
And you're always going to have that one friend that who's a chaos demon who just wants to go in and sabotage, no matter what, right? You could playing co-op, but he's going to be running around aggroing everything that he can.
Oh yeah, we have some of those on the team, so that dynamic is right there.
Yeah, that makes that always makes it fun too, because everyone's just like, why'd you do that? They pulled the whole Leroy Jenkins shenanigans.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
What are the server sizes planned on being? So like, is it going to be just basic like 4s, or is it going to be like, how big are the server rooms going to be available, the lobbies?
Yeah, right now we're still debating that. It'll definitely be at least 4. It might be 6. So the good news is you don't need a ton of people to have fun in one game. Because if you got to like matchmake for 50, right, then that's a big ask for a small game at the beginning.
Yeah, it really is.
But yeah, you can play with. We're going to try to make it so that it's fun with between 2 and 4 is kind of our focus, and then we will, even if it's not available day one, we'll allow up to 6. A lot of that depends on map size, right?
Yeah, for sure.
You kind of got to have maps that work well. If you've got a giant map that's great for 6 and there's 2 people playing on it, it kind of, kills the buzz a little bit. And yeah, so it'll be at least 4. We may be up to 6. We'll see.
That'd be pretty cool. So you could do like 1v1s, 2v2s, 3v3s, and 4v4s maybe, or 3v3s actually would probably be more ideal.
Yeah. All those combinations would work, and I think once we get into that, we may also look at doing like larger levels with maybe even, because it's a 2D game, right? But maybe even being able to pop out, having stairs to go up to upper levels and that kind of stuff. So I think the map design will also change a little bit when you can do team v team.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was going to ask too, because like with the create content, now is that going to be, so somebody would have to basically download one of the content created maps in order to play it in multiplayer, or is that not been discussed yet?
The way we're looking at doing it is we actually want, if we get it all the way we want it to get, you'll be able to create within the game, and kind of take a map and then fork it and change it. Okay. And there'll be, once you make a new map, at least you will be able to play it, but you and your friends should be able to play it. But there's going to need to be some kind of process where it gets available to everybody else. So that's kind of, we're still thinking about how that will work. But you'll need to download it and add it to the game. Yeah. But it'll be from within the game. So we'll be using something like an overview for Mod.io to do that distribution. So that gives us as developers a set of APIs, and what those APIs do is they, when someone uploads a new map, it goes into kind of an online repository, and then within the game, you'll see a list of downloadable maps and say, I want this one, I want this one. So people have to go and get it.
Okay, kind of like almost like the RimWorld seeds, right? Something like that. That's what I was thinking, like a RimWorld seed where you can create a map and it generates like a random seed code, and then you can share that random seed code, and then other people can pull up that map.
Yeah, that's a very similar thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. And so you said you were talking about Z levels.
It's something. So obviously in a 2D game, everything is flat. But it's when you've got team v team kind of scenarios, it'll get kind of interesting if we can go into having, you can pop out into another space that's essentially like above or below or whatever, however you want to think of it. Yeah, it's not too complicated to do that, but just kind of breaks up the play a little bit in interesting ways.
Yeah, for sure. It's I think I really dig the game. Ever since I got onto the playtest, I've only got like I think 3 hours in on it. But that's only like I played good. All 3 of the missions through, so like, and I keep going back to them. I really dig them, and I do try to keep everybody updated on whether or not. Got some stuff here in chat. Doesn't probably need to be in chat.
Yep.
It's one of those dirty sites popped up in chat, so we're just gonna get rid of those.
Kind of challenge on YouTube, yeah, for sure. Not great. No, I appreciate it. Actually, it's great to have a chat with you. We were not being particularly noisy at the beginning, although we were not being stealth either, and you found us super quick, and did a video, which was awesome. So the team enjoyed that, and glad that we can chat about it.
Yeah, me too. I spend a lot of my day sifting through Steam, sifting through Twitter, looking for new upcoming indie games, because I'm a big I'm a big fan of indie games. I prefer them over AAA games because 99% of the time they're better, because indie developers like you guys, you made a 2D heist game about Mafia Pigs, right? A AAA team would be like, no, their investors would be like, that's not going to happen. Sorry. So you guys get to explore more of your own creativity and imagination, and it's really cool. So I that's kind of what I built my channel on, is just strictly indie games. I'm playing Fallout 4 now, but I like to showcase the indie games. So I sift through and I keep looking through and finding the games that I truly think deserve like a spotlight and more of a shine on them, because a lot of the times I see good indie games get swept under the rug, and then eventually the developers kind of just give up on the game itself because they're just not getting the pull that they needed, and it sucks. But like the brothers for Dwarf Fortress, right? They've dedicated their entire selves to that game for almost 20 years now, right? And they finally got a Steam release, and they're finally making something of it. But they've dedicated themselves to that, and I see a lot of indie developers get into game development for the wrong reasons, which they just do it to throw out whatever game they can just to make a couple of bucks. And then I've seen really good dedicated indie developers just kind of lose focus on the game because they get deterred, because it's like you keep working and struggling for this passion project and it's not going anywhere, and nobody's picking it up and nobody's even talking about it. And to me, I enjoy spreading the word, even though it's not a big platform, even though I don't have the biggest platform. I still like to kind of showcase what's out there.
That's great.
and then it gets other people looking. Like even, you know, I think it's 217 subscribers right now. Hopefully it gets bigger than that.
I'm sure it
but
will.
When you look at it, those 217 people, if they watch this or they watch my first Mafia Pigs video, or even the second or third one, right? If no matter what, they see that and they're like, oh, you know what? These are really good. Let me go around and look around, see what I can find. Because then now it broadens their horizons. Yep. So that's kind of what my goal has been with this channel, is kind of just give a spotlight more to the indie games and the smaller indie development teams. Because let's be honest, you know, you got huge indie development teams out there that are on the borderline of AAA.
Yeah.
And they don't have any problems because they got the marketing budget, they've got the advertising budget, they've got the financial backers that will help them pull through regardless. And then you got smaller indie development teams that just don't have that pull. So I kind of look for those kind of indie games that are just worth showcasing and that deserve the spotlight. And I think every indie game pretty much does. But like I said, there's so many out there where it's just like somebody vomited out a game just to make some money and microtransaction the hell out of everybody.
Yeah,
so,
it's hugely appreciated to have people and you know, make the games more visible, but also give feedback and content. Like it's like, hey, I like this part, but this other part sucks, right? So I think that's something that, especially like we want to do a lot of this development in public, and that helps a lot to have people play with things and kick the tires. And I agree with you that it's hard to make a game whatever. And I do think so one of the reasons we're making games for Mac and PC, it's first of all, we enjoy those platforms, but like if you look at mobile development, and it's so competitive in terms of basically you have to make a game, put it out in the app stores, hope it gets a little bit of traction. If it gets enough and you get some kind of metrics, then you have to put advertising money, which is essentially your entire profit. And then if it doesn't work, you have to kill it, right? Again, it's done. And so I think that mentality is very unfortunate, because you don't get to work on something for a long term, whereas I think on PC and Mac you can. But I think that mentality is coming a bit to all platforms now, which is people make a game and they kind of put it out there, and if it doesn't do well immediately, it's like, okay, this one's dead, let's do another one. And it's unfortunate because it just takes time sometimes.
Yeah, and it does. It takes a lot of time, effort. You got to be. It's a passion project, and if you don't keep that fire going, and you're making something that you don't enjoy, and that you're not interested, then of course it's never going to get anywhere off the ground, because it's just not going to happen. You know, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've seen it too many times where somebody will just make a quick game. They just like I said, they just puke out this game and it doesn't do what they were intending on it. So they scrap it, and it has potential to be a great game. They just give up on it because it wasn't making them the money right off the bat. And a lot of the time it is a financial issue, because you've got, you know, a lot of people working full-time jobs, you know, little small indie developers that are still working full-time jobs at, you know, these big corporations, but they're dumping all of their funds, their own pocket money for their survival into their game development. And if it's not doing anything, then they gotta kind of scrap it. And that's what's sad to see. That's why I try to give, like I said, the platform, the showcase of a lot of the smaller indie developers.
Yep, that's definitely appreciated. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, I will actually have to drop in a few minutes, unfortunately, because we've got a lot of things going on right now. But that we could try fire up the game a second, or we could do that another day, like later on down the line. I know that the current version still has a couple of bugs, but multiplayer is getting there's quite a lot of fun stuff in it now. So I encourage people to try that. And if people want a key, if they ping into our Discord or go to mafiapigs.com, we'll get them a key. They can do that ahead of Next Fest.
Okay. And yeah, we could do, if you want, especially because you said, you know, there's some bugs that you guys wanted to work out and stuff like that. We can go ahead and schedule another day where we could go ahead and play through the multiplayer and go over some more stuff.
Sure. Yeah, we can do. I mean, as long as it's great for you and your viewers, we are happy to do that. Be great. We might be able to get one of the other team members on as well, because it plays. We'll have at least up to 4, but up to 6. But even with 2 or 3 players, it could be fun. So
yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, that way we could schedule it out and block it out, and then everything will be good to go at that time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. So, it's been really good talking to you, and I appreciate all your information about the game and everything like that.
Likewise. Yeah. If we can, we'll keep trying to promote your channel as well when you post stuff. As you were saying, support of indie developers in general is a great thing, and we hope that there'll be a lot of good games at Next Fest. So we're going to try to help as many as we can see as well get visibility, and I'm sure you'll be doing that.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's I try to schedule out, like, I started in November, or October, I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. But like, I noticed that like a lot of the indie games come out like in blocks, like July, August, November, and October, and then they kind of trickle off, and then this is where you get a lot of the I guess not so interesting ones. I still play a lot of them. I mean, I got so many games on that I got so many games, and it's hard to get through them all. But yeah, I like, there was a Dino game jam on itch.io a couple of, I want to say maybe it was November, and I played a few of those games, and that's because, again, I just kind of wanted to showcase the creativity of a lot of these littler games. And so, yeah, I'll be following the Next Fest and getting that taken care of and playing a few of those games as well.
Yep. Yeah, we're basically working towards that. We could already see in the platform there's hundreds and hundreds of games in there, so you'll be busy.
Yeah, that's for sure.
You can at least just pick the ones which catch your fancy the most. So it's still a nice problem to have.
Yeah, I'll play. Well, even if they don't strike my fancy, I still play a couple of them, just because it's like, it might be somebody else's.
Yeah, that's
so right. Even if I'm not a big fan of the game, I'll still play it. And usually I find a way to enjoy every game I play, even if it's super frustrating or aggravating. I still find a way to enjoy it, at least make myself laugh.
That's right. Yeah. Awesome. Well, it's great to be on the channel, and we appreciate the support and the feedback. And look forward to chatting again, and maybe playing the multiplayer whenever it would suit.
Well, absolutely. Thank you guys for coming by. I really appreciate it. Thanks for coming onto the channel and chit-chatting, and yeah, just let me know on Discord whether or whatever a good time is for you.
Will do. Yep, perfect. Thanks so much. Right. Yeah.
Thank you.
Wishing you a great day.
You too.
Keep playing.
Oh, you too.
All right. Thank you. Right. Bye.
Mm-hmm. Bye. All right. Well, that was Nix from TIMEWARP Labs, and that was our Q&A with Mafia Pigs. So thank you guys for stopping by. Thank you for liking, subscribing, ringing the bell. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought about the Q&A and what you think about the game and how you feel about the roadmap. And as always, you guys have yourselves a great day.